Yeah, just a really fun game, fun atmosphere. Just really excited that we got to do this in JPJ. And, there's just a lot of work that's gone in behind it. The girls going out into the schools to really drum up the excitement about what was going to happen. So they really spent a lot of time out in the schools. Hadley, who works for me, Sarah Holsinger, and Sarah Whitney have done a great job just kind of behind the scenes getting it all organized. And we were able to have a pretty good game out there, and really thought that crowd got behind us, those kids got behind us. So what a great event for them. And we just so appreciate their voices in there because it was a fun game to play in.
How often, can you take me through that? The schools that you did visit and things like that. How long have you, how many times did you visit and things like that?
They've been doing this since September, and different girls at different periods throughout the day, weekly, would go into different schools and just kind of get the buzz going and talk to the kids, read to them, do a lot of community service with it. And so just kind of put it out there in the community. But they've been doing it since they've arrived at school.
For both of you, at times, how loud was it out there?
Loud is an understatement. There were some times Michaela or Bree would call out a play and we couldn't hear anything. So it was really important that we were all on the same page at sometimes, make hand signals, but it was loud in there.
Yeah, the first half was definitely, not the first half, I'll say the first quarter was definitely a little different. Just we couldn't really hear much, so we kind of made up our hand signals throughout the game.
Joanne, you were kind of half joking about it, or maybe you were serious. Did you really prepare? Did you crank up noise in practice or anything?
I said I should have done that, but we just kind of talked about just it would have been it's going to be tough to hear, and so how they had to just repeat everything and help each other out. So, but we kind of went in with a simple game plan. We were going to run a ton of stuff, so they kind of knew what we were going after, and they recognized the defenses and were able to call things on their own.
Would you credit more the Bowling Green at times was, especially in that second quarter, was like a walking turnover, more toward the atmosphere, or you guys in that 1-2-2 press, or there's the combination of both maybe got them so rattled?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the girls. We've figured out part of our identity is we can play a lot of people, especially with their length and our athleticism when we get to press more. And so just being able to really go 8-9 deep with that press and change the press up and take it back into different things, things that gets us energized. So I think first and foremost, I think the girls did a great job turning them over, and I'll give credit to anybody screaming in our favor. So,
they had 2 10-second violations in that second quarter,
yeah,
where I don't even think they realized that the clock was on.
Yeah. Well, I know in the games that I've watched, some teams have pressed them. I don't know that teams have pressed them for the entire game, but again, when we're on point with that, we stay aggressive. You people can press, and it can be more about taking time off the clock, and then you can press and really be aggressive. And I thought we did a good job of really staying aggressive in the press.
Well, kind of talk about your role at the top of that 1-2-2, and kind of how you can use your size and length to your advantage, and kind of clogging passing lanes and forcing them to go, kind of dictating what they do against that.
Yeah, well, thank God and my parents for having a long wingspan, but it kind of alters the passing, especially when the point guards are a little shorter. But I think it helps a lot that I can start the press, or even Mo, she does a great job too. And that kind of helps the people in the back kind of learn or do what they need to do in their role.
You guys run a variety of different defensive looks, half court, full court. How much do you guys thrive maybe off of this 1-2-2, and how can you use this maybe going forward as more of a staple?
Yeah, I think it really just gets our team going. We get super energetic when we're in our presses, just knowing that we are long and we are quick enough to get into the passing lanes and get steals and make them turn the ball over like we did tonight. It just keeps us going because we always say that we want to do transition, and if we get those steals or if we make them take a fast shot like we did tonight, we can just run on them.
And how much did that help today? Offensively wasn't maybe as efficient as you'd like. Some of your bigger scores, Michaela didn't have a great night offensively. Right. But the fact you can rely on defense, is that something good? Because right now maybe your identity is more toward offense, but you're able to kind of creating that.
Yeah, the defense, I agreed. You're not going to be on every night. So you got to be able to create buckets for yourself, and you got to create situations like we did tonight where you can turn people over and get easier looks, and it's part of the game. Some people, you're not going to be on every night. Just like we're we never said we're going to be undefeated this season. We're really working towards some things in the NCAA tournament, and so we just have to put ourselves in best position to win every game, and the pressing will definitely help us.
Is this part of the plan to go 1-2-2 the whole time?
Yeah, they're a system team, just like Iowa and some of those other teams that we've been playing, the 4-out, 1-in, and they're a system team. If you let them come down and run their system, they're very good. And so being able to take them out, part of it was turning them over, and part of it was just if we can get them down to 18 seconds and let them run their stuff within 18 seconds and make them feel rushed, they're a systematic team that doesn't like to go outside of the system. And so I thought the press really helped us on that as well.
The fact that you rotate who that, sometimes it's Aliyah, sometimes you had Monet, as you said.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you might have had, you put anybody else up there?
Bree will go up there. And we'll change it up. Like if Michaela's, if we don't have Aliyah or Mo in, we'll go with a 1-3-1 press, and have Michaela be at the top. So we have a couple different ones we can change, and our length can be at different points. Sometimes it's great to have it at the top, but sometimes it's nice to have them on the wings too. Yeah, one.
Aliyah, back up.
Well, first of all, we do appreciate your time this afternoon. I got to ask all you guys up there, 10 games into the season, the new changes with the quarters, and just the pace of play. How do you feel you guys have adjusted to that 10 games in?
I think we've adjusted pretty well. We did a lot of stuff in the offseason to kind of get ready for that in terms of conditioning and weight training, so that helped a lot. But Coach B and the other coaches have amped up the ante in practice, and we've gotten used to it pretty well.
Is there a preference between playing halves or quarters?
Not really. I mean, basketball's basketball.
I don't feel a drastic difference other than the kind of the timeout situations, the length of the timeouts, and then obviously end of game situations. The fouling, obviously the number of fouls shooting at 5 is very different.
Joanna, it looked like the field trip day was a success. Probably a lot of kids have never been to a basketball game here.
Yeah.
I don't need the mic. I got one. Is this something you'd like to do again?
Oh, yeah.
It was very successful.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of time and energy went in, but it was a huge payoff. You're always trying to think of how do you involve your student athletes. Sometimes we get caught in the bubble here, and there's just so much that we're given, and how do you give back? And so to get in your community, and just like you said, not everybody's going to, play college basketball, and everybody's going to get to go to a game. I mean, it costs money, and some people aren't as privileged to get, those opportunities. So the fact that they were able to step in this building and kind of experience something, and you never know, kids dream, and they might see something that they are like, wow, I want to aspire to do that. And these girls are great role models, and what better, people to put in front of them with their style of play and who they are as people and going into the school. So that's how people come up with big dreams. They see them, and so for these youngsters, I thought it was just a great first one for us, and I hope it'll continue to grow.